Hey guys! So, today we're going to talk about what is a real project. So let's get into it. Now, the other day I had a subscriber reaching out and basically just asking me about like, okay, what do you mean, Fredrik? When you say get a real project? Because I made a few videos where I kind of touch on this concept of exposing yourself to the sort of situations where you get an opportunity to really kind of stretch your muscles and see what, kind of discover what you can do and what you can't do. Because the thing is, guys, it's very easy for you to get stuck just building things you feel comfortable building, and we need to get you out of that. We need to get you out of that hobby level project type of structure, because the thing is, you can build 100 to-do apps and you will never get to be a good software developer just because you can make a to-do app, because the challenge is simply too simple. And it's very tricky for you to, by yourself, kind of figure out where your weaknesses are. Think of it as having a personal trainer. I mean, if you train by yourself, it's very hard for you to train as hard as you would if you had somebody next to you who told you what to do and could identify, the things that you need to work on. So that's why I recommend getting yourself a real project when you're starting out. I mean, if you're working in the industry and you've been working for a while, you may not need to do that because you already know what it's about. It's still a good idea, I think, honestly, just in general, to have some type of real long-running project to practice. However, when we talk about a real project, let's just kind of specify what I mean when I say a real project. I mean that you are attempting to build something for somebody else with the intent of having somebody else using it. Let me explain. So if you are you can build it for yourself, of course. I'm not saying that you can't, but it's more beneficial for you if you have a third party who wants to create something that they have a vision. Maybe you have a vision yourself. That works as well. The trick is to get yourself out of the driver's seat, or at least share the driver's seat on the direction of the project with somebody else. Now, the best way that I've found to do this is either if you have a friend who can kind of join forces with you. I mean, you will learn very quickly that in early stages of a project, the time you spend, in the start, you're going to have a lot of business discussions. You're going to talk about the specifics about, okay, how is it going to work? What are we going to create, etc., etc. And that's really fun for everybody involved. But after that, there's going to be quite a time, like a duration, where the non-technical people can't really contribute all that much to the project itself. They're going to have to do other sorts of things, and we can talk about what they can contribute with in another video, but that's why you get to do the actual coding right. So the reason why you want to share this seat with somebody else is because if you are the person who is completely in charge, it is, in my experience, very likely that you will do the same sort of thing as you will do the days when you're not motivated to go to the gym, for example. You will cut yourself a little bit of a break. You will give yourself a break, and you will you might compromise on some stuff, and then you get a little bit demotivated, or you feel like this big vision that you had, well, it's not that important, and you kind of, just because of laziness, you will start compromising with your own vision. Now, that's what you want to avoid, because the goal of this little project, or this real project, is to create to simulate basically what a real life work environment is. And I'm not saying that there's not compromises in a real project. It's just that I don't want you to make yourself get yourself into that situation where you compromise, not because it's the right thing for the project, but rather because you're simply not all that interested. It's a personal reason. You're just doing it for yourself in order to make things easier on you. And that's what we want to avoid here, because we are doing this not just because we're going to hopefully create something amazing that will either help mankind or give us a lot of money. We're doing it to get better, all right? So why is it so important then to kind of have like a real project where you're building something for somebody else? And as I said, ideally with somebody else. So making it for somebody else, but also with somebody else who ideally should be from somewhere else. It doesn't have to be another programmer. It's, as I said, it can be a non-technical person. What's great about this is that it's going to force you to understand that in software development, there is a lot more to it than just writing software. There's a lot more to it than writing code, because if you are forced to deliver a project from absolutely nothing, you will have to learn about things like compromising on features. You're going to have to learn about designing things. You're going to have to learn how to communicate effectively with non-technical people, setting scopes. You're going to have to learn how to set up infrastructure, not just write the software, do UI development. If you don't have a designer, if you have a designer, you're going to have to learn how to cooperate with the designer. And like all these subtle little things that we like professional software developers do on a daily basis, you're gonna face. And that's why it's so perfect for you to have what I call a real project. So what I want you to take away from this is that when you just work for yourself, if you are just playing around with some little local project, or you're doing something that has no, like it's just for learning purposes, that's great, because it's going to help you understand certain concepts that you're at that moment interested in. But if you want to really learn how to be a professional and stretch your muscles and become better at the things that you may be lacking in, you have to allow somebody else to tell you what the direction of the project is. Because if you have a set goal of something that you're going to build, you cannot compromise with that goal as much as you can when it's just your own thing. You can't just abandon it or change direction. You have a vision, right? And that's how it works in software development, guys. This is something you should remember. It's always easier for you to change the specifications than it is to do the implementation correct. What I mean by that is that it's always easier for you to just change what the requirements are if things get a little bit tough, and then be done with it, than it is to have a beautiful design or a vision of some sort and like relentlessly work until that vision is fulfilled. And that's what you're going for when you have a real project. Have a great day.